think we'll be live, and I think people can hear us. All right, you guys. Hi, we're live on YouTube. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? I mean, really. Let's do it. We're ready. Whenever you're ready, we're ready. And this says that we're live. Let's see. Yeah, good volume on YouTube. Okay, we're ready. Okay. Actually, I didn't even ask if you were ready to go live, Monica.
I have no choice. I was born ready.
I know, you really are. I mean, please, you've been doing live TV. I mean, you know? Oh, we are. Okay, we're live. Oh my God.
She got the scoop on pop culture news, so grab a drink. It ain't what you think. It's Sarah and the crew.
Hi, crew. Welcome to the Hey Frase podcast. We are live. I always want to make sure. Luis is here today because AJ, you'll see Luis in studio, who our digital content creator. You usually see him back in our production studio because AJ's in here. But Luis has to work all operations today, basically. He's got to do everything. So, poor Luis, he's got everything up live. I'm your host, Sarah Fraser, and I'm so excited because today we have a special guest who we love and adore. Ronica Cleary is here.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. I'm so excited.
I cannot even wait.
I'm ready.
I mean, you're a Goop expert. We're going to talk
I love
about
this.
Goop.
This is my new title when I saw that in the graphic. I think of myself as a Goop advocate or a Goop enthusiast. That's what I like to say. But I guess I'm an expert to you, right?
I love that you're a Goop. Yes, I want to talk all about Goop because
We
you
can talk.
subscribe to the magazine.
I do subscribe to the magazine.
You listen to the podcast.
I religiously.
And then you're considering going to this Goop. What is this, Goop retreat?
Okay, I considered it for a hot minute. It's $1,000. So that put the nix on the Goop. It's called in Goop Health is the name of the wellness seminar. But I really wish I could. I want to go.
I kind of want to go too. What is it? What is it? 1 week?
No, it's a day for $1,000.
What? Okay, hell no.
Yeah, it's kidding? A day for $1,000. And then you could pay $4,000 to stay in hotels and meet Gwyneth and go through this whole Goop experience. So,
what
I mean, obviously
what are you going to do for a
They are going to talk to me.
$1,000?
They're going to have yoga classes and B12 shots and all of these. Look, I'm not paying for it. Don't look at me like that. I get the Goop. I get the podcast for free. And that's her defense. Whenever, I've read a little bit about the controversies because, Sarah, let me tell you this. I only brought it up with you because I had no idea that it was controversial to love Goop. I was living in this world that was obviously removed from reality. And then I started to tell people, oh, you have to listen to this podcast. Or I told you I brought the magazine that I subscribe to. Yeah, look at the magazine.
I didn't even know that Gwyneth had. She advocates for things doesn't she want you to put a jade egg in your vagina?
You know what? I've never done that. And I can go on the record and say that here. But I've never heard her suggest anything that wild when I listened to it. And so I started to tell people and they said, oh my God, everything is a lie. Everything is crazy. And I'm sitting over here reading the magazine and it's talking about gratitude. It's talking about mindful eating, which, you're into, right? I mean, it's talking about these things that sound very reasonable to me. It's talking about incorporating, diet into your plan with your doctor if you're sick. And I'm thinking this is great stuff. And people are telling me, how could you be, drinking the juice over there at Goop? So now I feel like I'm a bit of a, I just did not know it was so controversial. And there's the one article in there that I love. It's talking about gratitude and it has this naked woman running through a field and somehow that's connected. But
oh, I love this. Okay,
yeah, there she is. Look at her.
I want to read this article. Yeah, she's okay. Well, I'm all about getting naked, so I could be.
I mean, she makes me wish that I had that life. But if you read the article, the idea of living a life of gratitude and thinking about being thankful and kind of she had a guest on who just talked about this project that he did where he was thankful for things every day for a year or something. I mean, it was so inspiring, right? I mean, I came from news. I work in politics, right? Every day
you need inspiration.
I need something that's light and fun, and I'm all about healthy skin and clean eating.
I mean, yeah, we're mindful, but we also want to look young. I mean, I'm getting the facelift. I don't give a damn. People are always like, you're supposed to be advocating for all natural.
No.
I am all natural, but I don't want to look all natural. Okay. I don't want to look like a fucking, dish rag.
Sarah,
I need to come in looking fabulous.
We've talked about this many times. This is my thing. You can push off that facelift with forehead control. My friend.
So okay, and by the way, I love it. You're here co-hosting the entire day because
Thank
AJ
you.
is in Mexico. Her brother is getting married.
Congrats.
Very excited for
Exciting.
him. They are having 150 people for this destination wedding
You
in
think
Mexico.
You think destination will make people not come, but
They
just
all
as many
come.
people show up, and then you have to plan a wedding in Mexico, and you're like, what was I thinking?
No, I know. I mean, I figured Maine would be destination, and now I have people inviting themselves. They're like, when can we get an invite?
Oh, right.
All the time. Yeah, I
Oh,
can't.
well, I won't hold you to that.
I'll
but
Skype you in.
That sounds great. You can have like a separate Skype viewing party for,
Oh,
you
I
could
might do
turn
that.
it into a podcast.
Actually, I might do a paid stream. Is that tacky?
You know what? Make the money where you can.
I think I'll do a paid live
That
stream.
wedding is not cheap. The gifts do not
That's
pay
the
for the
God's
cost.
honest.
I mean, just live stream for a fee. I'll pay. I'll watch your wedding on live stream.
Wait, did the gifts not pay? Because you're
It
the
depends.
second person that's told me that you really don't get that much money for your wedding.
I think that whoever came up with that idea, maybe weddings were less expensive. I don't know. But I mean, weddings are astronomical. And you don't invite someone to a wedding to pay for themselves. What is that? That's so rude, right?
Is
I mean,
it?
obviously a gift should be generous and thoughtful and what you can afford. What are you going to not invite somebody because they can't afford their head at the wedding?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
So, but one of the things I love, and I was telling AJ about this when we were talking about, we've got some guests, hosts lined up for when she's out.
Right.
So we were talking about you're famous for, you have a forehead control where
Technique. It's a thing. It's official. I'm putting my stamp on it right here. It's public, so no one can steal it. I'm owning it today.
Never had Botox.
No.
Really?
I'm 35 and I've never had Botox. I don't know when. It had to be over 5 years ago. I don't know how I came up with this idea, but I do know this. Your skin is like a rubber band. Think about it. The more you use the rubber band, the more it pulls apart, it gets looser and saggier. And so if you don't move the skin in your forehead as much, watch me in this whole podcast. I mean, I do it sometimes, but I'm telling you, it's not even conscious anymore because it's become such a natural part of me. But forehead control, you don't move your forehead when you smile, you can't control laugh lines, right? You're not going to stop laughing. You're not going to stop smiling, but
True.
you do not need to scowl or make a frown in your forehead when you're upset. And so you'll notice people who get Botox, it's because they're always, a lot of times they're really scowling and they're drawing their head together. So I try to never really move my forehead.
Well, I often tell like a lot of white lies. So you have to have a lot of facial features to like cover them up. You're like, oh, really?
No. People could think I'm lying then because I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to be believed. That is an investment. My forehead control, ladies and gentlemen, forehead control is an investment in your future. Let me tell you, because
it's amazing.
I'm going to go as long as I can without Botox. Obviously, one day I'll get it. But there are women younger than me getting it. And I don't think I need it yet.
No, you don't. Oh my God, your forehead is unbelievable. For people who can't see you, and of course we're live on Facebook and YouTube, your forehead is like porcelain.
Yeah, you got to forehead control and moisturizing. Staying out of the sun, stay out of the sun, moisturize and forehead control. I'm telling you, the forehead control deserves major credit.
You've got good Italian genes though.
Girl.
I'm telling you. The Irish
what do you
and
think
the
Italian
Scottish,
people don't get Botox?
They don't. The Italians look so good. They really do. Honest to God.
Well, that's my secret. It's
from
really
Scotland.
It's not water by this display of beverages I have here with my coffee and my bottle of Prosecco. That's for both of us, not just me. But there is water there. So
we are drinking that.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you. It is my birthday week. I'm very excited.
Very exciting.
I was telling you this before we started the podcast, but what I love most about getting older is just how wise, how confident you get, how secure you get, how like you look back and you're just like, okay, there's some regrets, but you're like, oh my God. When people say like God really has a plan and everything happens for a reason, it is so true. And that's what I love about trusting the universe more and more when I get older is like a year or two later, something you were like, oh my gosh, please work out. And then you reflect 2 years later and you're like, oh my God, thank God.
Isn't that funny?
Thank you,
You
God.
sound like a Goop podcast, Sarah. You know what's really funny about the fact that we said we even talk about Goop today is that one of my girlfriends who I tell about it, who thinks I'm crazy and brings up the jade eggs and the
I want to try that, by the way.
No, don't try it. I heard like it was
to,
like it got, I don't know, just be careful. I'm not advocating the jade eggs, but it was so funny. She said, you love Goop so much and you talk about it all the time. You should do a podcast talking about how much you like Goop. And I swear to you, a week later, you're like, let's talk about Goop on the podcast. And I was like, what the hell? Like, is somebody listening, like making this happen?
Yes.
This was destiny. But no, I love it. It makes me feel good inside. It talks about, being your best self, right? She's the Oprah of today.
Oh, she is. She's living her best life.
Yes.
I mean, it helps when you come from Hollywood royalty. I'm
of
not going to
course.
lie.
Yes. But I don't, that's all right.
You're like, that's
What do I not-
irrelevant.
that's okay.
That's irrelevant. All right. Well, look, we got a lot to talk about
Yes.
on this podcast. I love having you on because we really don't talk politics. We don't really talk. I would say like we're really comedy based, not exactly
Sure.
well informed. So today, though, I'm excited because the past week,
Mhm.
everyone's been talking about Jeff Bezos outing the National Enquirer essentially for bullying him. I am probably the only person. I'm dying to see his dick. I don't care what anyone says. I can't wait to see that.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Really?
I'm good without
You
it.
aren't. I think he's got to have a massive wang to
No.
go. Absolutely. To say to the National Enquirer, screw it. I don't want you to post these pictures. Those two must have the hottest bodies. I can't wait to see him nude. When
No.
are they going to publish it?
Okay, Sarah, I don't think they will now. I think he called them on it. And that was my point. Like how he handled that was so smart to get in front of it, post the text to the emails, kind of say, this is what you're putting me up to, and I'm not going to do it. I thought that was handled extremely well. And you're never going to see it now.
You
Now
don't
it's
think?
ruined
Oh,
for you.
Damn.
Sarah, it's over.
I was dying to see it. I was like, look at this. And we're going to talk about this because I loved your whole point of view, which you're like, Jeff Bezos is 55 years old.
Mhm.
Do we think there's an age where you shouldn't be sexting?
No, it's not that I think he shouldn't be sexting. Fine, sext whoever you want. I don't care about that. It's more that I am surprised that he would be so. I guess it gives you a little insight into the fact that you could be one of the richest, most powerful men in the world, and you're still playing like fast and loose with your like professional life and your personal life. That like took me by surprise. Like you would just think like you get to some point in your career, in your life where you are wealthy enough and successful enough that if you don't love your wife anymore, and you decide that it's time to end this marriage, that you just end the marriage and then go get yourself. I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned. That's what to me was I'm like, you're cheating on your wife? What are you
do
doing?
you think he really was? Because I really feel like, I don't know. Actually, you're probably right. But they came out with that also very brilliant statement where they'd been sort of exploring their relationship for the past 2 years, which kind of made it sound like it was open in the
Look,
sense of like,
marriage is tough. I make no judgments on people who,
see, I love that about our
Marriage
friendship. You
is very
told me
hard.
that from the beginning.
It is
You've told
hard.
me that from a long time. Like what I love about our friendship and what I loved about you from the start is when we would work together at Channel 5. That's
Mhm.
how we met.
Yeah.
And you were always like, doing the political beat. Like this woman knows her politics. I'd
Thanks.
always be like, oh, where you going? The White House? Now who's there these days? I don't even know. I mean, who's would you always see the press secretary, Sean Spicer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did he always swallow the gum in real life?
I don't know. I think that was like a one-time thing. I think you chew gum on camera once as press secretary and you don't make that mistake again. But yeah, off camera, I'm out there, talking about hopefully other stuff with you.
You would always say to me, because we would always talk about our relationships, and
Mhm.
I share everything about, well, probably too much about my own relationship.
You
on
have a
this
very
podcast.
patient fiance.
He's very patient. Yeah, he really is. And so I would always tell you the highs and lows of my relationship with Dan, and I'm dumping him. We're staying together. What's
Oh my
going on?
God.
And you would always say like, relationships are so hard. Do
We're tough.
not pretend.
Do not pretend. And anybody who's married will tell you that, and who stays married. I mean, it's a choice to stay married, right? Like you make a commitment and a choice to stay there through the good times and the bad times. And that's what, and again, that's why I don't make judgments on relationships. It's not that if a marriage doesn't work, that's not surprising, because it's really hard to make a marriage work. Obviously, it's a lot easier if you pick the right person. It's a lot easier if you pick a person who wants to make it work with you, who makes a choice to get through it with you. But I've been with this March, I've
How
been
many
with my
years?
husband for 15 years. Like I was a baby when I met my husband, and I thought I knew everything. I was 20. I was a junior. Well, we met when I was 19, but we started dating exclusively when I was 20. And I thought, because I had been through 3 years of college, I was the end of my junior year when we started dating. And I thought, well, I've been around. I've
What?
done things. I've dated. I'm good. I did not, right? I didn't know what I was talking about, but I had no clue, but I love my husband, right? I fell in love with him. He's the right guy. But man, if you don't think that's going to be tough sometimes, you're not going to wake up and suddenly the gravity of till death do us part. Sarah, you will be laying in bed, not the night you get married, not the week after you get married, but like 5 years after you get married, you're going to wake up. It's going to be 5 years later and you're going to say, oh my gosh, marriage. Like
5 years later, we've already been
Right.
together
No,
6.
but
So
I'm
you're
saying
telling me at the 10-year
you're gonna
mark.
no. It's not the time. You're just gonna wake up and you're gonna say, it's been 5 years and I'm not done. Right. Like I have to do this forever. Right. It's just this,
Oh my God.
it's
this
the
seems
reality
awful.
of what it means. But that's the beautiful thing about it. I am a big advocate of marriage. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. I have 2 children. I did it the old fashioned way. I didn't even live with my husband until I married him. Yeah. So I'm
Oh
very
my
traditional.
God.
I don't want this to make you think that I'm not traditional, but I'm also very honest with myself and with my husband and very realistic about how hard it is to be with the same person
I
till
know.
death do us part.
I
Like that,
say
I
to
think that's
Dan-
where what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I think you should get married. I am a big I am so glad I got married. So take that with it.
I always say to Dan, like, I have to adopt the AA motto of
What
one
is
day at a
that?
time. Like,
Oh,
I
is
have to, because if I think about forever, and I always say to him, I'm like, okay, like, Schman, are we really only going to have sex with each other for the next like 30 years?
I don't know.
That's
Are
like
you?
great. I hope not. I hope that we're like at some point we need to be going down to like hedonism in Jamaica and like having sex with everyone on the beach. Like, I mean, what are we going to do? There's only so many positions.
You know what's so weird about that, Sarah? You say that, and you may wake up one day and not want to. Which I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's. I don't know what that is, but the thought of this is. It's only noon, Sarah. How do you get people to talk like this at 12 o'clock in the afternoon? The thought of being with someone else is like horrifying right now.
Really?
It's horrifying.
Oh my God.
I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't find other men attractive. I told you this was my
Me too.
this was my Maroon 5 shirt.
You look
I'm in
so
love
high.
I'm in love with Adam Levine. But like I cannot imagine actually being like with I just can't. I don't know. I mean, I could probably imagine if I try hard enough, but like it's just it just like the intimacy is so intense. It's like next level because if you do love each other, it's fantastic.
Well,
And so I just like can't imagine this like artificial, like, I don't know. Like I would never want to replace that, but I have a great marriage. Like maybe I'm saying that because like I got lucky. And that's the thing too. I mean, it's hard work, but it's also luck. I mean, I got lucky to not only want to work hard, but to be with somebody who also wants to work hard.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So
I know. And I do. I mean, I talk a lot on this podcast about Schman, but no, you're
lucky too. He's a good guy.
Oh my God. He's so good. He's
going to let you live stream pay-per-view your wedding.
That's the thing about Schman is he would really let me
Just,
do
like,
within
goes for the
reason.
ride, like
he is so along for the ride.
Yeah, you got to go on a honeymoon.
I feel like he's probably like your husband. It's, I love being with a guy because I have a lot of girlfriends that are with men who are impulsive or very emotional. And, obviously Schman and I work on emotional connectedness all the time, but it's hard when you're with a guy who is erratic and you're not sure. It's a whole nother level of a lot of work. And I love that Schman is like always level-headed.
Yeah.
That
does help.
It's amazing.
Maybe that should be the top thing someone looks for in a guy. But then like maybe the erratic behavior is
100.
exciting or something. I don't know.
Well,
but then you're
sex, but then you're like the rest
it can
of the
be
stuff.
it can be good without someone who's erratic.
Oh my God, we could talk all about our sex lives. Actually, well, speaking of too, I was down in Richmond with Schman because he's in soccer. So we were doing a soccer weekend this past weekend.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, you're a mom of 2.
Mom of 2.
I walked away from this weekend and I thought to myself, but you know what I admire about you? You've started your own business. You're a political consultant. You help people get elected.
I hope so.
You also should be in crisis management too.
Well, that's what I do. I do that as well. Yeah. I mean, it's crisis communications every day in politics.
oh my God, I'm going to need you so much.
I'm here to help. I want to branch out and do work for corporate clients because politics is very, it's a grueling world. It can be very ugly. And I actually really love it and enjoy it, but I want to just have a little balance in my life. So yeah, that's the goal. So we'll talk after the show.
Oh, I'm going to need tons. Please. I'm always in
I don't
trouble.
think you do. I think you handle it really well.
Really?
Yeah. I think you're very honest and authentic. I think that's very important. Obviously there's some strategy to it, but at the end of the day, the world that we live in today really connects to authenticity. I mean, and I know you on and off air, like you are Sarah Fraser,
I think
that's
that
so
it's going to be
important.
hard. Like as you keep elevating though.
It depends on what you do. I mean, it might not be easy if you're really messing it up, girl. I mean, I might earn my pay, but yeah.
You probably will.
It just depends. But yeah, so no, I don't know. You went travel soccer, right?
We did travel soccer this weekend. You have 2 kids. The hardest, I don't know how these parents do it because they work all week long. Then you've got to take this child to like a soccer tournament.
I know.
Hours, like 5 hours down to Greensboro, North Carolina, up to Richmond, all these places. And I just don't. And then now, the etiquette for parents, like they can't really say anything on the sidelines,
I
'cause
got in
there's this-
trouble backstage at my 4-year-old's ballet recital.
What were you saying there? Were you coaching her?
No. I was talking too loud. I was like chatting with the moms and I'm like, really? This is really it. So mine are too little for this, but it's so funny. The other day I was like, no travel teams. Like I can't deal with that. But then you're going to have this kid that you love more than life itself. And they're going to say like, Mom, can I please be on the travel soccer team? And like, I don't know how I'm going to say no, but I didn't play sports. So I have no concept of this like sideline madness. I'm not sure.
Well, there isn't anymore. They're all very quiet. They're all well behaved. And I was watching these 12 and 13-year-olds. And of course, all I could do not to tap in myself and play for them because I could see all the moves they should be making.
How old were they?
They're like 12.
Well,
and then, how do you not curse? I mean, it's like, I just wanted to curse the entire time. The parents do so well.
Maybe it's this whole like participation trophy world we live in. Like they can't get mad. Like everybody has to win. No one can get their feelings hurt. Like, maybe that's what it is. Where used to be, dog eat dog out there on the soccer field. I don't know.
Not anymore. It's very civil. They do a very good job. They're very civil. I just don't know how like every weekend you make that sacrifice for the kid. I mean, I want my kid to play like online poker. Can't they do that from their house so we don't have to go far? Like I need to focus on me.
Yeah, I was thinking about you today with kids. A few days before coming here, I said, man, that first one is going to rock your world. Because you live for yourself right now. It's gonna, the second one is easy. The second one is so easy because you're used to it. Like your life is different. You've adjusted, but that first one, it ain't the Hey Frase world anymore.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can do that. Cause much like there was Stormy World, there's Hey Frase World. And
you're going to throw yourself a birthday party.
Yes. It's 24/7 me as a giant carnival face.
That's going to be really hard. I mean, and your world is not 9 to 5, right? I mean, your life is not.
It's like 7 days a week. Right. Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Well,
you need your mother to move down here.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to
say, Mom, bring her on the podcast, give her a role. She'll love it. She can be with the baby out there.
Oh, she'll be perfect with the kid. She'll just need a break from like 4 to 6:30 p.m. where she can have her wine.
You know what? I'll tell you this though. And then what is she going to take care of the baby after wine time, Sarah?
Yeah, she's a pro.
The one thing I've noticed amongst moms is our moms have sort of surprised us at how hard it is for them. Because I don't want to say this in a mean way towards our moms. It's really hard to take care of a baby. And a lot of times I think young moms, especially these like professional women, and you think your mom's going to help you. And then a baby, like my son, who's 10 months old, is 25 pounds.
Oh,
like,
Lord.
My mom's not like picking up a 25-pound baby. And then you put the baby in the car seat. I mean, it's like 40, 45 pounds to carry this baby around. So you think a lot of times like you have this vision that your mom is going to help you, but then like physically it is the physical aspect of raising a baby is, I think, the most surprising thing. Like how physical it is. Like my arms were awesome when I had my daughter because I just was like lifting all the time.
Oh
and
my
so
God,
it just,
okay.
So your mom might want to help, but she may not really come into play until that kid can get into the car seat themselves and kind of like do a little more for themselves because it's so physically demanding to take care of a baby.
Oh my God.
So you'll have to get a nanny or something or I don't know.
No problem, Schman. Schman wants to be like a stay-at-home dad.
Well, that's awesome.
Dad. I know.
You're very lucky.
I know.
You are extremely lucky.
I am beyond lucky. And I've really made like a New Year's resolution to like talk better about our relationship on this podcast.
You should. People misunderstand. They listen to one little thing you say and think that it is love between you two. They don't get that you're just being real.
And I get people that message me all the time, like, not all the time so much anymore, because we really do. I mean, they get, I think, because we say it now that it's like a joking manner, but I'm really in love with Dan.
You are.
But I was getting messages.
Sure?
Yeah, people would write me that all the time. Like, it seems like you're not like really into him. Like, what's going on?
No.
I'm like, guys, it's a comedy podcast.
Yeah, come on.
But anyhow, all right, look, we are going to talk more about Kylie Jenner threw a first birthday for Stormy. People are very upset about that.
Oh, they're upset.
Yes, I'll tell you why. Bill Cosby has had no visitors in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. Like, not even his family.
We're going to talk about this from a direction that you might not expect. So I have some thoughts on that.
And then, I mean, I know you're here and we're like, I'm always trying to be sort of, we're trying to do smarter content, but I hope you've read about the guy, 24 years old, that never washed his dick and like came into this TV show.
I saw that. So Sarah asks me, read these articles and tell me if you have any personal connections to these stories. And I'm like, excuse me. No, I don't. I don't have a personal connection to that story.
Okay. I love this story so much. Can
Poor
you
man.
imagine?
I feel bad. I mean, he's a lost soul. What did no one
24
teach
years
him?
old. Nobody taught him to wash his penis. I will tell you about the condition he came in with. The doctor for this TV show says that it's actually not as uncommon as what you think.
Ugh.
24 years, you never scrubbed down there? What?
I'm speechless. My brain goes to like, I don't know.
And this man went on
I have
television.
no personal connection to this story, Sarah. Let's make that clear.
You can't
She's
relate?
like, let's talk about things you can relate to. Like, what can you bring a story to? I'm like, excuse me, what are these? What is this list? What
Sorry.
is this? This is not, hello.
I'm so fascinated by it. All
I
right.
guess it's fascinating.
Okay, I want to hit some of our sponsors first, and then we're going to get into all those stories. So first of all, we have to thank Dr. Mintz, who we absolutely love. Dr. Mintz is a medical marijuana doctor in Bethesda, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. He's located in Bethesda. He's also a concierge medicine doctor. What does that mean exactly? It means you pay a one-time fee for the entire year, and then you have 24, 7-day-a-week access to Dr. Mintz. So it means like you want to pop in, get a flu shot, boop. You don't need an appointment. You can just text Dr. Mintz. You can oftentimes tell him your symptoms, speak on the phone, get a prescription immediately. It is all about you and full service. It's unbelievable. drmintz.com is his website. Also, he has a $250 one-time fee if you are interested in getting your medical marijuana card. That will qualify you for everything. He does all the paperwork, and most of that $250 is reimbursable by your insurance. Tell him that the Hey Frase podcast sent you. Go to Dr. Mintz, drmintz.com. We are doing a pop-up podcast. You need to be there. It's happening March 6th at 11 a.m. at Umaya in downtown DC. We're super thrilled to be bringing back and all of 2019 doing pop-up podcasts. It's a really special feature where we partner with some great businesses, and then you can pop in like on your lunch break. Come have lunch with us March 6th at Umaya. We'll be doing a live pop-up podcast. Now, space is very limited. It's free, of course, to make your reservation. You can go to eventbrite.com or heyfrase.com. AJ and I will be there, and you're going to see the entire show essentially in this intimate setting where we're going to be eating sushi, drinking sake, and you can have lunch too. So bring your coworkers. If you're downtown DC, they're located 733 10th Street Northwest in DC. It's Umaya, and you can go to eventbrite.com or heyfrase.com and just hit Umaya or Hey Frase pop-up podcast, and then boom, we'll be right there. And our mindful eating seminar is also happening February 24th. We're more than halfway sold out with Robin Mize. Speaking of goop, I feel like we have our own little goop. But I, of course, lost over 30 pounds doing mindful eating 5 years ago, have kept it off ever since. Mindful eating completely changed my life. Many of us have issues around food, whether it's emotional eating, binge eating. And this is a 3-hour session directly with Robin and myself. It's really a masterclass because Robin's going to be kind of teaching it, but I'm there to sort of tell my story. Robin's also going to be doing a live session, not with me, but with a woman that signed up for the course. So that is also, tickets are available, heyfrase.com. They're $120. You are going to want to get your ticket now. This will sell out because space is limited. We're very excited about it. It's sponsored by Rock Recovery. We're going to have a great 3-hour session, and it's at Arlington Arts Center in Arlington, Virginia, from 1 to 4 p.m. on February 24th. So, all right, let's talk some stories. We kind of talked Jeff Bezos over the weekend, but that story continues to unfold. I've been absolutely fascinated by it. And a lawyer for the National Enquirer says that the CEO denies that the tabloid extorted Jeff Bezos. They're denying that. Mm-hmm. And they also say that the person who leaked the text messages is very familiar with Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, his mistress. They also say basically it's her brother. Ooh. Lauren Sanchez's brother is the one that leaked all of the text messages.
I don't even know what to say. I think that would be really heartbreaking if that's true. I don't have siblings. I hear things like that. I can't imagine. I mean,
don't you think it has to be him though? I mean, who else would know?
Who else could it be? Yeah. It's got to be, it most likely has to be somebody that close, but that's one of those stories, man. Just like I said, the whole thing about just bad decisions from this this rich guy, all this fame and success, and you're doing these, I don't know. The whole story really makes me scratch my head when it broke. I just was like, of all the people, but then I guess maybe I can believe because you have power, you have money, you have wealth, you have to do something crazy to make your life interesting, right? Like you can get anything you want.
Oh, I think he'd been married for 25 years.
Mhm.
I think they had kids, been there, done that. They've been together from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Now you're not just rich. I mean, you're like the richest man in the world. You're
Yeah.
another level, right?
Yeah, next level.
Next level. You've got women throwing themselves at you all the time.
Yeah, but you throw all that away. I don't know. You're talking to somebody who's pretty happily married. Like I get again, like I just can't. You're not going to recreate. You're probably not going to recreate that. I mean, you got kids, man, but
Do you think though that you care? Like you and your husband, like I
you-
mean,
I
you're
hope
talking
money doesn't make you not
billions.
care about like your. Maybe I mean, but maybe it wasn't a good marriage. That's my point, though. If it's not good, just maybe you need to talk to your wife and end your marriage. Like, but I guess that takes this like excitement away from it. But for me, I've always been of the philosophy you don't find love to fill a void. You don't have an affair because you're unhappy. Like you need to find this happiness inside yourself. You need to end a relationship because it's not good, not because you found somebody else. Like that's kind of those are fundamental principles of mine. So when I read a story like this, I just have a hard time connecting to it because I really try to not live my life that
Like
that excited. I try to keep that much excitement out of it.
so
But
you don't think that we'll actually ever see these nude pictures?
I'm sorry, Sarah. First of all, I can't believe you want to see it.
Who doesn't? Don't you?
I mean, maybe like I don't know.
Please. I would be like in people's bedrooms. I'm always curious. Like, what's going on in your bedroom? Like,
That
I
is
need all the
different than
dirt.
see. I mean,
Let's see
I don't know.
it.
You're never going to see it. It's not going to happen now. Though
Because
it's
why?
lawyered up. It's not. You're not those pictures. And what if the pic? I mean, I guess it's possible the pictures don't really exist. I don't know.
Oh, they could be basically calling his bluff.
Maybe.
I don't know though.
I think that's unlikely. But I mean, when you're a reporter, you got to ask every possible question and every angle there is. But I mean, my instinct says they're probably there. But what is it? Why are you reading comments or something?
No, I'm just yeah. People are commenting about the entire podcast.
But I don't think you're going to see him now. You got the lawyers. It's done. And that's what I said though. The really smart thing he did and how he handled this was he beat them to the punch. He wrote that blog post. You take ownership of the situation. And then, maybe it might have escalated it. I mean, I don't know how it's going to end, but I think the likelihood of seeing those pictures is now almost gone. So now we have those descriptions of the pictures. If you read he wrote this blog post kind of like describes the pictures or something.
Yeah.
But so I guess you can like imagine what they are. Could you imagine typing up those descriptions of those pictures? I was like reading it. It was like so I was
thinking
bizarre
about that too.
kind of thing to imagine, like describing these like sexual selfies between these two people having an affair. Like, how can I write this in this professional way? But I think that means we'll never see them. So sorry, Sarah.
I know.
You'll have to get them from somebody else.
I was disappointed about
I know.
that. Where do you think this goes? I'm always curious because see, I used to really, until this happened, I didn't realize the bullying ways of the National Enquirer. But prior, I really loved the National Enquirer because they actually broke
Remember, there's more
legit stories.
There's always more than one side to the story. I don't know enough to say like bullying ways or not. I mean, I think that you can still read the publication.
Well, basically, I mean, if you believe
reporters are tough, and I'm not defending the Enquirer. I'm speaking like generally here because again, I don't know exactly when you see one example. Does that mean every story's like that? But I mean, you get in your story. They're tough. They're aggressive. They're gonna work hard to push it out. I mean,
but they seem like bullies in the sense.
I mean, obviously, you can't blackmail people. Like.
Right. But they were basically wanting him to drop some stories. Like this is what's the kind of bizarre thing about this is like a so-called Saudi connection where they were saying, look, we're not going to release these pictures if you sort of back off of this, Saudi story and some other Trump related stories is basically what they were threatening. I mean, that's pretty bullying.
Sarah, I thought this wasn't a news program. How do you know more? I don't know a lot about this story. I don't know a lot about this story. I go right to the personal connection of it. But yeah, I mean, what are you not going to read the Enquirer now?
I never really read it to begin with, but I did. I mean, they broke that Patrick Swayze had pancreatic cancer back in the day. They had broken the whole, remember when John Edwards had a love child? Like Rael Hunter, they like that. I was like obsessed.
That was a story, man.
That was a huge story. They were the first ones to publish the picture of John Edwards in the hotel room with their love child. So,
you love them.
I used to love them, but now
this is what I'll tell you.
I'm not
having been a reporter. Like if you're gonna break a story like that, especially at that level, most of the time, to break that doesn't happen by accident,
right?
And I certainly don't know the levels they were willing to resort to, and I certainly don't advocate blackmail. But like breaking that someone has pancreatic cancer think about like the willingness you had to think about the fact that you were willing to kind of
Oh yeah, you're like digging through their
digging
trash.
digging through
You're
trash, digging through
hanging out.
personal life.
Yeah,
Like it's medical, it's private, it's deadly. I mean, you have journalists in many instances are I put it like this, and this is really like heavy for the Hey Phrase podcast, but they're the people who are willing to knock on the doors of parents of dead children. Right. I mean,
right.
so you just have to consider the source. And I don't mean the sources in the Inquirer. I mean, just like the sort, like that's what reporting has in many ways come to. That's
Right.
what you are expected to do. That's what's demanded of you. And so it does really, a lot of times, I think the most important thing for journalists to do, and I think that they don't do this, is you can get caught up in the routine of the job and the fact that that's what you're supposed to do, and never step back and ask yourself the question, like, is this right? Like, do I want to, like, can I go to sleep at night and do this tomorrow? I'm a mom now. I get that I get that stories need to be told. And that's the thing. There's two sides of it. Like, you have to tell the stories. It needs to be done. But I mean, if you don't ever stop for a second and just say, like, maybe I'm taking it too far this time, or maybe knocking on the door is one thing, but maybe following them to soccer practice is a step too far. But the next reporter is going to follow them to the soccer practice. And so if I want the story and I want the scoop, then I'm going to have to follow them to the soccer practice. And then I'm going to have to, take the Bezos story. Like if the brother's leaking the text, right? Like I'm going to be the one that's willing to take the text from the brother of the person in the story, right? I mean, so that's what reporters do. It's certainly not just the Inquirer.
Yeah, right. They're not the only ones.
They're not the only. Now, obviously, a step too far would be extortion or blackmail or whatever. But I think what happens is you get it's a rush, right,
Yeah.
to break these stories and to be in this space and be a part of this conversation in a way, because reporters are celebrities now.
Right.
And they were not celebrities before. And so now when you break a story, it's not just the publication that's famous. The reporter is famous and the reporter goes on TV and talks about it.
Right.
And so it's really heady. And I think that if you don't force yourself to stop and think about the work that you're doing and what it means. Now, again, somebody's got to do it, but you have to step back and ask yourself these questions.
Oh, that's so good.
You have to. So
it's kind of how I feel about true crime when I did the true crime podcast.
Oh,
It's
my
really
gosh.
depressing. And
Yes.
yeah, you're
there are children involved, right? And you are making a podcast. And I'm not dissing you for that. That was a really good podcast. It was fascinating. But you are
you're
profiting
basically
on this horrible
Totally.
murder. And where does it stop?
I don't think I would ever do that again in that form. The thing I think that works so well about, the serial podcast series is like you have Adnan Syed's family and friends. And again, and I think about poor Heyman Lee's family. Like they are never, now HBO is coming out with a 4-part series. Heyman Lee's family is never getting away from that story ever.
Never.
Like never resting in peace. Like
because they see it makes money and they see people are really interested in it.
Right.
I mean, is that the right question to ask? I mean, it's the industry. I mean, there's just like I don't know where it starts and stops. I don't know the answer to that, but I think the most important thing that a lot of reporters don't do today is ask the question.
Yeah.
Right. Like we are the people who go to bed at night having knocked on the door of the parents of
it's really good. Yeah.
of children who've been killed or something. I mean, that's what we have to do. Right. Like, and so it's just a weird industry that is almost applauded, right? That's necessary.
Well, and now it's glamorized and made into miniseries and I'm guilty of watching it and consuming it. But when I lived it, you're right. It's a different feeling. It's like, at some points you do think, okay, these people just, and whether you ever get to the bottom of what really happened, it's almost too like, you're going to let them live their life,
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So
I mean,
good.
that is quite a, that's heavy.
Did you watch the Grammys last night at all?
A little bit, yeah.
You did? What'd you think?
Alicia Keys was phenomenal. But here's my
Best
one thought.
part.
Can I say this?
Of course.
Okay.
You can trash anyone.
She looked awesome, but the whole time in the hat, like you can't see her eyes.
Oh,
like that was like she looked fantastic. And then like, well, you're going to take it off. Like, I can't see you.
Wait,
right.
The
She's
head
like,
wrap, the
no,
head wrap?
she was wearing this black hat. I turned it on late, so I might've missed that, but she's wearing this like black hat and it's like covering her eyes. And so she's like talking on the camera and I can't see her eyes or anything.
Okay. You got to late to
and
the
I
party.
thought, so I must've got there. Maybe I missed the beginning, but I mean, I did see the part. I saw you tweet about her with the 2 pianos. Like
She's so
Fantastic.
great.
Fantastic. So talented. So yeah, I mean, a little bit. I watched a little.
I did too. Cardi B was
Made
there,
history, right?
made history, first female to win. I think Song of the Year was. Wait, I might
I
have the
don't
wrong
know.
one. Hold on, I'll have to look it up.
I'm not
But
here to save you on that one. I don't know the answer.
no, I can't remember what she won last night. But yeah, she did.
I got a
make
breaking
history.
news alert that said she made history because I didn't last too long.
She's so amazing. Anyhow, and I loved her outfit, by the way. She wins Best Rap Album, for 2019 in her Grammys acceptance speech and made history. I liked the fashion.
Oh, you did
Basically.
like the fashion.
Yeah, Cardi B, for me, Cardi B, Kylie Jenner, Katy Perry, they were like the few people that will take risks.
Mhm.
Now everybody just kind of dresses the same. They don't want to be outed as, there's no more Bjorks, there's no more wearing a swan dress. Like coming
Is that
as a swan.
better or worse?
I
Come as a
miss the
swan?
days that people would come like over the top and then be roasted by Joan Rivers. Like, but
that
now
was a
no one
different
wants to be
time.
roasted. Right.
And now, no, I don't. Will people even roast anymore?
No, not really.
I mean, it's kind of like you can't offend people, you can't hurt people's feelings, and blah blah blah. Like, I don't want to say the wrong bad thing about something. Like I'm afraid to say, "Oh my God, your hat's too low. I can't see your eyes." Like I'm like, "Oh, people will be
We'll
mad
make
at me."
assumptions about that.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's it's different time. Everyone's so sensitive.
I thought overall though it's kind of pretty standard. For me, Alicia Keys was the best part because I actually thought she enjoyed herself, but the rest of it was all sort of, the usual, long
Oh.
performances, speeches, blah blah blah.
Sure. I feel like award shows are a little bit going out of fashion. I
I
feel like
think they are
people don't
too.
like them as much. It's a little bit too much like, look at all of us and how fancy we are. But I enjoy the fashion. I don't need you to wear a swan dress for me to enjoy it. But I love looking at everybody being really glamorous.
Oh my God, me too,
Yeah.
right? I know. And I miss the Manny Cam days. They got rid of that at E. They used to have the Manny Cam where
That
they
was
would like,
I remember
right.
that. Yeah.
Can't do that anymore either.
Why?
Because you have to ask women about questions of substance.
Oh.
Here's my thing. Like, can't
my
we
gosh.
answer questions of substance, but also show off our nails? Like, how is it? How can two of these things not live at the same time?
That's the problem. And E capitulates.
I know.
Right. In terms of just say, I don't want to do the manicam or don't get a manicure. I don't know. Like if you take the time to get your nails done like that and you get like, I don't know, that's so bizarre to me that the point of being, empowering women is that we should empower all women, that we're supposed to empower women who want to be feminine and beautiful and get manicures just as much as a woman who doesn't. Like, I don't understand how I'm not allowed to want that anymore.
Oh my God, preach, Veronica Cleary.
I don't get that. It's really, really, I had no idea that was why they didn't do a manicam.
Yeah, you're not. And that's why very few times, like red carpet last night, I always watch E, and it's Juliana Rancic and Ryan Seacrest, but very few, I would say 1 in 5 people, they'll ask, who are you wearing? They don't ask who are you wearing
gym
anymore.
Shorts or something. Like, give me a break.
Because again, you're not supposed to be asking. It's supposed to be about more like the substance of the music and less about
not
what
the
they're
red
wearing.
carpet.
I agree, but that's where the red carpet is kind of headed. And of course, lots of people have issue with Ryan Seacrest being on the red carpet because he's been accused of Me Too.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that. It got to be so
continues.
many people when that really came to a head. Like, you could easily have missed somebody who was accused of it. I didn't realize that.
He's one of them.
No
Now, you were telling me too that you didn't watch all in its entirety the R. Kelly documentary on Lifetime.
Right. No.
So why'd you stop watching?
I couldn't. It was making me feel ill. It was really upsetting. I didn't like it. I felt like, and this is kind of goes back to the conversation about news. I mean, you have to tell these stories. I mean, they're important to be told. People need to know, but it felt a little like I don't need to watch anymore to know how awful. I mean, I'm sure I maybe missed out on more details or something, but it just felt like I didn't need to see it. I was really, really obviously like put off, disgusted, heartbroken. Like, I mean, it was just like, why do I need to watch the end of this?
Like how he's continued to be able to do that for years and years. This is what's blowing my mind, though. There's this news story out today that in Germany, he's continuing his shows overseas. Like here in the U.S., basically, no one will see, he's under investigation in Georgia. Chicago police are looking into him. But in Germany this spring, he's set to do several gigs where now they're upgrading the venues. He's being booked despite the backlash. Yep. Turns out R. Kelly is scheduled to perform April 12th, and it's a hot ticket, so much so that he's now gotten bumped to a bigger venue. MHP Arena, which has a capacity of 7,200 for concerts, tells news outlets that it's moved to a higher capacity spot 2 weeks ago, but got relocated again to a bigger venue of 9,000 people or more.
You
Isn't
think
that
they don't know?
crazy? They do know. So they told TMZ, an arena spokesperson said that if facts change before the show, they are right now.
What facts? What else do they need?
They're considering him innocent before proven guilty. So he hasn't been formally charged with anything.
That's true. I think we've kind of lost sight of that general concept in this country, of course.
So they say, look, even though it's not popular opinion, they're going to go and side with the law that he hasn't been charged with a crime. He hasn't been convicted of a crime. If facts change before the show, then we have made contractual agreements that we can cancel if need be. R. Kelly remains under investigation, as I mentioned, in Georgia, and there's a potential for crime cases in Illinois. There's also been a movement to mute the singer, but there have been no official criminal charges. So he's going to continue on and is selling out.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what they have to do legally, but you don't have to show up. I mean, I don't know, man. Woo, that's surprising. I figured that they were not as familiar with the story. Maybe they don't get Lifetime out there. I don't know.
Right? Okay, there's like a million other stories I want to get to while I have you here. A couple of new emojis that are coming. There's going to be a pinching hand now, which people are saying is going to be basically used so people can insinuate someone has a small penis. It's like literally like I
had to look it up because when I saw that, I'm like, what the hell?
It's going to be
what
added
happened
to the
like the
emojis.
laughing so hard you're crying? Like, can we go back to it? Can we go back to a simpler time?
How do you feel about the menstrual one? They're going to have a drop of blood, which is going to symbolize like, oh, hey, it's supposed to be in support of women having their cycle. So now we can share about it. But it was actually voted on that one instead of a pair of underpants with a couple of drops of blood on it because people thought that was too offensive.
So I'm not sure about this one. My initial reaction was, I don't like it. But
really?
Then, like, we have the poop emoji. Like, I don't know. Like, what are we too good for something? Like that emoji they make like they make like children's pillows out of that emoji, and like all of these
people love it. My
people are
niece
obsessed with it.
Emoji.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, well, I don't know. Like I said, it kind of gave me pause when I started to think about it. I'm like, we got a lot of really absurd emojis out there, and it's a thing. I might want to just send the emoji and not get into details.
Emoji.
Yeah, be like, leave me alone. Like,
I feel like the drop of blood, though, it could be anything. It could be your bleeding. Could be like
they're going to use it for like donating blood too, right? Maybe we just need that emoji. Maybe that emoji is missing from the conversation, and you can use it as you see fit.
I mean, yeah. To me, I don't know why they don't do a tampon one.
Oh, please.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like a bloody tampon, but why can't we have a pad or a tampon? Like,
what's the grossest emoji out there?
Oh, that's a good. I think it's poop because
I think that's the grossest one.
They had a gun, but then that was petitioned.
The gun is still there. It's a water gun, right? But the crazy thing about this, you want to talk about weird like censorship you don't even know is happening. When you type words into your phone and the emoji pops up as a suggestion?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen with gun. So even though it's like a water gun, so it's still in there, like you could still use the water gun, but it doesn't suggest it to you. So they're like, we've got this emoji here, but we don't want you to know that we have it. So only if you look for it and find it and it goes into your regular emojis can you use it, which I just thought was hilarious.
Major censorship.
So it's just the drop.
Just the drop. And then there's like
that's fine.
A finger that's going to be using your
pointer
worse. Finger and
that's
your
worse.
thumb. To show like tiny.
Maybe it's just showing how much snow there is outside,
just
Sarah.
A pinch. It's supposed to be like a
pinch of salt.
It's
for recipes. Gosh, get your head out of the gutter. You're going to be a married woman, Sarah. You're going to have children. They're going to go back and listen to your podcast and say, Mom, what were you thinking?
I'm going to get them on the red carpet so fast. I want them to be like.
You're going to throw the birthday party.
I'm throwing the birthday party. The stormy world. Well, no, I don't have the money, but
what you're not. Not only do you not have the money, you have no idea how exhausted you'll be. Like you cannot even begin to like the thought of throwing a first birthday party. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I just need a babysitter and a drink. Like the baby doesn't know it's their first birthday. I mean, of course you have like a little cake because it's like cute and the baby eats like sugar for the first time. It's like take the pictures and they're like putting icing all over their face and stuff. But I mean, to have that big party, that's what went through my head. I thought she has the money to pay people to like pull this thing off. I mean, it's not for the kid with her Chanel bag. Oh, could I get my first Chanel bag? Excuse me.
I
Like,
want to do
what?
one. We're going to talk 4 things that are popping because we end the show with 4 things that are
Okay.
popping and pineapple mail. But I was fascinated by this story because it's a TV show in England that is getting a lot of feedback and discussion. And a doctor is saying these are open conversations that we need to have after a 24-year-old decided to be on the show called The Sex Clinic, where viewers were left horrified over the weekend after a man admitted that he hadn't cleaned his penis in 24 years. The show offers people sex advice, STI tests, and treatment. But viewers of the show were shocked when one patient made the confession. He goes by the first name of Zach. He walked into the clinic complaining of a nasty smell coming from his nethers, as well as having pain and irritation. The man spoke openly to Dr. Naomi, who's one of the heads of the show, about his problem, admitting that basically he has foreskin and he never washed it. What?
Sarah, can we edit this part of the show and take me out of it? You not only bring this story up once, you bring this story up twice. I'm going to say this. This story shows us that the show is necessary and maybe doing like a public health good, because if he's willing to go on TV, there's probably many who are not, who are in the same situation.
Yes. She says that, many people suffer from this because it essentially ends up causing an irritation of the skin that she says many men have. Even if you do shower regularly, sometimes you can get it because it's essentially an infection of the skin. So she says that Zach should be commended on the sex clinic, and it's called smegma.
Oh, good.
Oh my God.
I can't believe
Is
you
that
just
real?
said that, Sarah.
Yes, they say it's called smegma. He was diagnosed with this.
Can we get more wine over? Can we get some hard liquor, please? I need to zone out for the rest of the episode.
Dr. Naomi says he's not the only one who's experienced this problem. Keep talking. Let's talk about sex. No judgment. Stop the stigma.
That's what I said. I said the biggest takeaway from that is that the show is clearly necessary, and that whoever his high school health teacher was needs to be, talked to, and they need to go over the lesson plans with that person or something. I don't know. Like that's
Zach
next
is
level.
My hero, because
Zach's name is also not Zach. Let's be honest.
Who signs off? But Zach's face is there.
That's true.
I mean, forever now.
That
Zach
tells you
is
people will
being shared.
do like anything to be on TV, right? I mean, that's what that tells you. I mean, people just want to have their 15 minutes of fame.
If you don't wash your dick for 24 years, you deserve to be on TV. I mean, that's amazing. Like, if you really, I mean, that's commendable.
Yeah, I guess it's How did you turn that into a commendable story? Like,
because that's epic.
You should start like awards where you just like, your
I love this.
commendable, like the most ridiculous things, and you turn it into this. You could do crisis communication.
I love it. I really could. I'm obsessed when people, I like their personal lives, because everybody puts on a facade. I mean, everyone's out there pretending, right? We're all pretending that things look great on the outside.
Right.
Meanwhile, everyone's family's
We're a
messed
hot
up.
mess.
Everyone's a hot mess.
4
4 things that are popping is everything popping in the celebrity news world. Okay. We touched on the Grammys last night. Was there anything? I mean, Drake was cut off. He kind of got into a political speech about the Grammys. A lot of people, Childish Gambino won for like album of the year, didn't show up. I think it was song of the year. Sorry. I actually didn't really pay attention to any of what they really won.
I was reading these crazy stories you sent me. I don't know where you get your news, Sarah.
Well, I'm just not. I'm into the Grammys fashion, but not really into who won. But a lot of people didn't come last night for various reasons. Ariana Grande didn't come. They apparently didn't want her to sing the 7 Rings story. So anyway, you don't care about the Grammys.
It must be nice. Like that's your life. Like you're like worried about these things, like they matter. I mean, I don't want to say they don't matter, but it's just the totally different. So removed from, where I am right now. But I watched a little. I turned it on. Alicia Keys was fabulous.
Alicia Keys was
That's
really
my
good.
takeaway.
But some other celebrity news. So over the weekend, it was reported that Bill Cosby's family has not visited him in prison.
Can we talk about this though? When you read the story, it specifically says they don't want the family to come. Like
Correct.
They don't want, like that's like a perfect example. Just like the headline really makes it seem like they don't necessarily want to go. And then you read the story, and whether they want to go or not is a different thing. But it just says like, we told them not to come. It's
the 81-year-old and his attorney. The 81-year-old is serving. Bill Cosby is serving 3 to 5, a 10-year sentence, 3 to 10 years for drugging and molesting Andrea Constand in his 2004, in his home in 2004. So it does appear that like they don't want to come, right? The family members, but instead they're saying that Bill and his attorney have said they don't want to expose his wife and his daughters to that environment. But don't you think though, it's still, I mean, he's been in prison now over 4 months. You don't think people visit their family members in prison every single day. Do you really think that they don't? I mean,
I
that
think
seems
it's
odd to me.
possible because he's a celebrity that maybe they'll be followed, or is that public information? I don't know.
But you got to know, of course, Bill's a big story. You're being followed, but I mean, you don't even go to okay, you're talking, he was in prison over Christmas. They never even went on Christmas Day to go, look, we're probably being followed here, but Merry Christmas, Dad. I mean, that's odd to me.
Well, he was accused of some pretty horrible things. I mean, I think, it's forgiveness is important, and it's complicated. I don't know what it's like to have a family member who's been accused of and convicted of committing such horrific things. I don't know how you deal with that. I feel like a little hesitant to weigh into, because it's so easy to say like what you would do, but like, what if that was
your family?
What if that was your dad? I don't know what you should do. I have no idea.
Well,
would you go see your dad if that was your dad?
I would, because they seem to have stood by him the entire time. Now his wife,
That's true. That's a great point. I didn't actually think of it in that context. They did.
The daughters have stood by him. His wife has, she's still working on an appeal supposedly to help. She's the entire time believes in his innocence. So it's fascinating to me that they.
So maybe there's more to the story, right? Yeah. There's more to it then. Because if they stood by, maybe there's really something they don't want to, maybe he doesn't want to be seen in that setting, or he doesn't want his family to see him there.
How willing, where are we willing to dig for this one?
Who?
Us as reporters.
Look, I left the business. I want to go to sleep at night. I want to put my head on the pillow. I don't want to knock on any doors.
Knocking on doors, yeah.
Yeah,
people at their worst moments. Yeah, it's rough.
I didn't want to do that.
Dina Lohan, the mother of Lindsay Lohan.
Oh my gosh, this story.
Confessed in Celebrity Big Brother that she has been dating a special person for the past 5 years, but they've never actually met in real life or even FaceTimed. The 56-year-old mother was then met with the Catfish host, Nev Schulman, going, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Let's do this. He really wants to help Dina Lohan. She goes, no. And apparently her response was, look, I know everyone's going to make fun of it, but I swear he's real.
Dina, let's talk. I saw the same story on Dr. Phil recently with a woman, just a regular woman, and he had extorted her for all this money. I mean, and he had sent pictures, and then of course, it's Dr. Phil. They find the guy who the picture is of. They get the guy to come on Dr. Phil, and he's like, I'm not your boyfriend. That guy used my picture, used somebody else's address. But it's funny, like how Lindsay Lohan had those like crazy times and went through, so much drama publicly. That's her mother.
I know.
Right? Like her mother is willing to say she has a boyfriend who she's never met or seen. I mean, you might be, going through some, and then you have all that fame, right? It gives you a little context into Lindsay Lohan's life choices. And that's what I mean about kind of trying to be slow to weigh in sometimes. And, maybe if you knew that Lindsay Lohan's mom was the kind of person that would say she has a boyfriend who she's never met and never seen, right? You're like, oh, it gives me a little more clarity on Lindsay, right? Like, I mean, just like it tells you a little more about her, right? So you're so like quick to judge. I mean, you got to pull back the lens a little bit. That's what news does too. I mean, like you see this like one headline or this one story. I mean, there's just so much context that we don't have time for, especially in TV.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like in 90 seconds, 2 minutes. I mean, when you're inside it, it gets a little, when what's not able to be included, sometimes it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. So I'll be curious to see how this story plays out.
I just hope she's okay, right? Like, I mean, it's funny to laugh about, but that poor woman, she's lonely and looking for love, right?
Yes.
That's what she's doing.
And she's actually, I think Dina Lohan's very attractive. Yeah. Like, I think she's attractive, and it is kind of a sad 5 years to never, she says
so
they
the
talk
one thing
every
that crossed
day.
my mind, that did cross my mind, again, like I'm always going to go there, she making it up.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know.
Oh my God, there's so many layers. How are we going to get to the bottom of this?
If she doesn't have a boyfriend and she wants to make some news, there you go. There you go.
People are loving, by the way, Emer says, oh my gosh, sexy Ronica is on the show. Glenn is giving you tons of hearts and likes for your last comment about not judging, being slow to judge. People love that. And then also Dane says the Grammys do not reward the best music. And I'm sure it's very political.
Isn't that true with a lot of award shows? They say that it's not.
It's probably who's hot now.
As a former reporter who is a non-Emmy award winning reporter, They always get it wrong. Kidding. I'm kidding. I don't care.
So we talked about it. We touched on Stormy World, which was the huge first birthday of Kylie Jenner, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Soft pretzels came out, mini pizzas that were in Louis Vuitton style little mini pizza holders, as well as French fries. There was a Stormy shop where people could grab merch to commemorate the occasion. By the way, that was free. A lot of people thought that you had to pay for Stormy merch. It was a giveaway. Like you went in, dexed yourself out with Stormy, and you could keep it.
That's good. I did kind of do a double take when I saw that.
And then DJ Khaled gave Stormy her first Chanel bag. I mean,
I just can't.
I was like living for it. I'm like, how do I become friends with these people? I love everything about their reality.
You have time before you have your baby's first birthday to make friends and get your baby a Louis Vuitton bag. Oh no, I mean a Chanel bag. Excuse me. So overwhelmed.
A mini baby Chanel, $1,200.
They make that bag because people buy it. That's the thing. That is not the only baby Chanel bag that has ever been purchased.
No, people buy it for their kids. They've got that much money.
Oh my gosh.
Must be nice. And then over the weekend too, Jennifer Aniston had a 50th birthday party. But the odd part about this was the guest list. First of all, everyone was there. Reese Witherspoon was there falling down the stairs. She was captured. But also Brad Pitt. Her ex-husband, Pitt, showed up. I mean, can you believe this? Their 5-year marriage fell apart, but according to a source, there's no hard feelings. Do you find this, like, why was he there, though?
Why are there...
And he cheated on Jennifer Aniston with Angelina Jolie, by the way.
I was going to say, why are there no hard feelings? But I mean, I guess you wake up one day and there's no hard... eventually you got to get over it. I just think it's weird. What is the point? Are they going to get back together?
I don't know. Do you think maybe just because it was big A-list Hollywood? Robert Downey Jr. was there, Randy Gerber, Pharrell Williams, Keith Richards, Gwyneth Paltrow, Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, George and Amal Clooney, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Barbara Streisand, and many, many others.
That sounds like so much pressure. I don't like to have parties for myself, like featuring me. That makes me super uncomfortable.
Oh my God, this sounds like the most amazing
I never want to have like a birthday party for myself, like on a big birthday. No.
See, this is, I mean,
I feel like everyone would be like, I don't know. That makes me I get anxious just thinking about that. That list, I mean, obviously that's not my circle. But like, I just really, oh my gosh,
you're very modest.
That's way too many people. I don't know. I'm sure it's super fun though. I'd want to go.
I'm trying to look for my cell phone. I was going to say Pineapple Mail. We get all kinds of DMs and people's messages. These are at the end of the show on Monday. We always do these. So I'm curious to see what your thought is about these. You can always email me. It's sarah@heyfrase.com. And Pineapple Mail, we usually put it in this little like cute pineapple container.
Oh, duh.
We ended up making this like our little mail container.
I love it. Oh.
Put all our things in there. I think it was a little ice shaker, but not anymore. So speaking of, you can weigh in on this. But a woman writes, and she says, okay, I'm really curious if you guys could talk more about menstrual cups. You've got to talk about them on your show. Maybe even do a breakdown of what's best to use. They're popping up everywhere, but I'm really intimidated, LOL. And it's 6 things, and she sent an article, 6 things I've learned since using a menstrual cup. I am so fascinated by these. I don't use one, but I really want to try it because apparently it's like an insert.
I love how you think I'm going to have something to contribute to this. But Sarah, I said this to you before. You're talking about menstrual cups and mindful eating. I feel like I'm on a Goop podcast. This is very goopy over here.
Has she done one on menstrual cups?
No, but she would. I mean, she would do something where she just like talking about maybe like toxins that come from feminine products or something that you might not think of. And maybe you choose to like take her advice. Maybe you don't, but it's just different ways of thinking about the world that you might not normally think of.
I like doing it.
But yeah, I don't think you should do a whole podcast on that.
Probably a segment.
Maybe a segment. Don't you have male listeners?
Oh, yeah, we do. We have a fair amount of men.
I feel like men can't handle that conversation.
Really?
I don't know. I don't think they can. I think it would be a good conversation to have. I think women might be really interested and fascinated, but maybe do like a woman only or something.
We have to, because then tampons and pads are unregulated as far as like the bleach that's in them.
See, she would talk about that. They would explore that. That's a good conversation. Why not have that conversation?
And there's like they keep trying to pass a law that basically means they have to disclose what's in your tampons, like what makes them bleachy white. Because they obviously use chemicals to make them super, super white. So
I've never even thought about
and then
that.
we like insert them in our hoo-has. So maybe the cup is like, I'm going to do a
and they're
segment.
mocking her for a jade egg over there.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Again, like think
Cleanse your
about it.
badge.
Let's
Also, this is from Christina. She says, hey, just wondering, you all seem to have gotten a bum deal on that Rothy's code since they offer free shipping for orders of $30 or more. If you order one pair of shoes, your code is pointless. Not trying to be mean, I'm just pointing out an observation. So that is because Rothy's is a sponsor of ours. And thank you for bringing this to our attention. You and apparently many other listeners, we're thinking, oh, great. Like they probably charge shipping for everyone. No, apparently, like our code is useless.
you got to work on that.
I thought that was great.
That is fun. I'm glad someone
AJ
told you.
And I were like trading texts over the weekend because she, like AJ's endorsing it. So she got the Rothy's for
She
free
had
and
those
like
pink and black ones.
got to try them out, right? So then we're just assuming like we're going to get a 10% off code, 15% off code. No, we get just
Free shipping code.
which apparently everyone gets because if you log, I don't think they have anything on their site less than $30. Maybe like a kid's pair of Rothy's.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you need to talk to them. Yeah,
deal.
get yourself a percentage. This is the Hey Frase podcast over here, all right? We don't do free shipping.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
You're telling
We
me
want 25% off.
Yeah, exactly. We just blasted that out to thousands of followers, and they're
It makes
not
you
even
look,
getting
it makes
a
you look
deal.
bad, right? I mean, you want to.
Yeah, it makes us look like basically we gave them a free fucking commercial.
You did?
Exactly. Yeah, we did. We
Newsflash.
did. We did. Way to go. Also, you guys, tomorrow night is Galentine's Day. This weekend, the 14th is Valentine's Day. But Galentine's Day, I'm going to be at Carlisle. It's up at Clarksburg Premium Outlets in Clarksburg, Maryland, for all of our Maryland fans and friends. Come sip cocktails, enjoy chocolates, macaroons. We're trying on Valentine's Day outfits tomorrow night, 5 to 8 p.m. I'll be there 5 to 7. They have tons of fun perks from raffle prizes, gift card scavenger hunt, clearance pampering. Of course, I'll be there. You can shop Carlisle and receive up to 40% off. And believe me, they're actually offering a real discount. They have amazing stuff. Normally, sometimes they're up to 80%. It's like huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a real discount.
You know, I think you're going to care about Valentine's Day more if you have a kid.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like nice to do something together. You know?
I have to tell you, Valentine's Day is actually my favorite holiday.
Oh, really?
It's my favorite holiday even more than Christmas or I love Valentine's Day.
See, I didn't care. I mean, I always wanted to just be like acknowledged. I didn't want to be just forgetting it. But now it's like, oh, we can go on it. We're going to have a date night. We're going to force ourselves to have a date night. It's nice.
Isn't it so fun? I love
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. I love the excuse of like buying flowers and chocolates and lovey-dovey things and things covered in hearts and just proclaiming all day that you're like madly in love.
I buy myself every year the day after Valentine's Day because my husband forgets to buy them a box of Russell Stover chocolates at CVS, like 50% off. And I love, it's my box. And I just bite in half of them and cut them apart to see if I like them or not. I mean, I destroy it and I don't eat it all, but it's like my favorite thing to do every year.
Oh my God, look at you.
It is my favorite, but it's kind of pathetic.
Why?
Because they're not, I'm buying them for myself. I mean,
no, I used to have girlfriends.
I think he's going to remember this year because I think maybe after 15 years of complaining about it,
like you're going to finally get
maybe he'll remember, but it's a work in progress. Marriage is a work in progress.
That's the truth. Ronica, you've been amazing to
Thank you for
co-host
having
the
me.
show. Where can people find you, follow you? And a lot of people, by the way, they want to know that because they're saying that they miss you on Channel 5.
Oh, thank you. I miss you guys too. That is definitely, I miss having that regular connection at Ronica Cleary, all platforms.
All platforms,
All
Instagram,
platforms.
Twitter, Facebook,
Yeah.
people can get you there.
Right.
You're amazing. Can you give us a teaser? I mean, everybody's talking 2020 election. You're going to be working with anyone that you know of?
Oh, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
No way. No. But it's
Do
going to be
you-
a great election to watch. I mean, it's going to make me miss reporting a little bit. I mean, I love being on the other side. It's completely different experience. It is really fun. But there is something also really awesome about having an excuse to be a part of the conversation for every single campaign on every side. I mean, it's overwhelming, but it's also like, that's why I love I love that part of my job. That was
Are
awesome.
we going to see a female president in 2020?
I don't know. There's like I think a half dozen
Loving it.
women already have announced on the Democratic side. But I do think what may happen is maybe it won't matter as much being a woman. I'm not sure. I mean, it might not be the main point of conversation, which I think would be the ultimate goal, that
That would be great.
you're not talking about my candidacy as a woman, you're talking about my candidacy as a qualified candidate. But obviously, to get to that point, you need to have a first woman, you need to have a pool. This is all part of the process, I
Right.
think, getting there. But I don't know what's going to happen. That's a way too far out. I'm not making predictions on that.
I'll be curious. Do you think Michelle Obama is running?
No. She's seen the inside, right? She's seen how the sausage is made. I would be really surprised. I would be shocked. I think partners of politicians, I mean, you know what it's like. Going back to the same thing. I mean, you've seen stories written about your kids, your husband. Like, it's like, and then you're going to go put yourself in that world. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think she liked it one bit. And so I would be shocked if we saw that.
Ronica, you're awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
being a
Sarah.
great friend, for appearing on this.
I
We'll
loved
keep
it.
you guys posted if we go to the Goop 1,000. I was thinking it was like $1,000 for a week. I was like,
No,
oh, that's great.
it's-
$1,000 for a day.
A
Oh
day.
God. All right, you guys, follow me for sure on social media. It's at Hey Frase on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube, by the way, because we're leaving Facebook. Facebook's dead. We're basically going to broadcast the show starting next Wednesday solely on YouTube. It's at Hey Frase, so be sure to be liking us on YouTube. Bye, everybody. Yay!
That was great.
Ronica!
Thank you. That was so fun.
So fun.
That was the whole show.
The whole show.
I didn't know this was a real song until I heard it on in the in the store one day. I was like, oh I thought you had it made for the podcast.
And Rock the Casbah is like
I
a
had
real.
no idea.
It's like a real song. What's that? Really? Ooh, all right. Thanks,
know.
guys.
Cool.
Okay, are we still? I think we're still live. Okay, no.
Still
Are
live?
we're still live on
We are
YouTube.
still live on YouTube.